box that I used to play fighting games with that has it has a decorative plate on top of it that says Blade Runner on it. I have a bag of pretzels. I have a hat, a green one, and then a yellow plastic box that I don't use anymore for anything, even though it's a nice box. I also have a picture of Tommy Wiseau, a signed picture of Tommy Wiseau, and it
That's
says,
impressive.
"Yeah, oh, I'll show it."
Okay, audio looks good. Thank you for regaling us with that
The audio looks
fantastic
good. Check this out.
information. Of course, you have a fucking signed picture of Tommy Wiseau.
I have a signed picture of Tommy Wiseau, and it says, "To Dylan, love is blind. Love Tommy Wiseau."
What wisdom? What concrete, relatable wisdom?
Do you want to know how I got that picture?
I would love nothing more.
Okay, so before we get going on the stream, how I got this picture was Tommy Wiseau made a new show after his movie, right?
Yeah.
It's called The Neighbors. It's on Hulu, or it was.
And
on
isn't
Hulu.
like
It's horrible.
terrible? Yeah.
Oh, it's like it makes The Room look good in some ways. Like I can watch The Room once a year, but The Neighbors I can't. I'll never watch that show again. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But it's still really funny. But he was really heavily marketing his underwear brand in that show. Like every character in that show wore Tommy Wiseau underwear.
Amazing.
So I got a pair of that underwear.
Yeah.
And with that pair of underwear, it says Tommy Wiseau on the band, on like the the elastic band. With
Yeah.
that pair of underwear came a signed picture from Tommy Wiseau himself.
Fantastic.
Love is blind. Oh, hi, Cleveland. So,
what a perfect introduction. So yeah, we are Neophyte Studios. We are down one member today, but we keep on. I am Matthew Gordon. With me, I have Cleveland Benedict and Dylan Davis, and we're playing Griftlands.
We're playing Griftlands,
which I've heard fantastic things about. This is gonna be my first experience with the game, but Dylan's playing.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, basically, almost any game that has cards in it, I'll buy. Like,
Yo, for
'cause I
real,
just love
same
card
though.
games. And I'm a Slay the Spire fiend. I've played that game a lot. I've played that game a lot. So when Clay decided they were going to get in the game, I was like, I like what Clay does. I like their art style. I like how everything is designed by them.
Yeah.
And their stories are cool. So
Yeah.
Griftlands was it was a snap buy. Like the second it was available, I bought it.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. So we're actually gonna. I didn't even know this, but the new character is finally out. He hasn't been out since the last time I played. So we're gonna be playing as Smith. Because Sal's cool, but I've played Sal a lot. I've lost with Sal a lot.
Yeah.
Rook is also cool, but I haven't gotten very far with him. And
So you are playing a character, and how much does their character come through rather than just being an avatar for player choice?
I think it's like almost Geralt-esque levels of their character.
Neat.
Like
that's what I
you
like.
play as that character, not like, you know, because like Geralt only has so many options. Geralt is like gruff or less gruff or gruff but sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of like what you got. But I've always liked that about The Witcher, is that Geralt is going to be Geralt, and you choose whatever option you think best aligns with how you want Geralt to be.
Yeah,
But I
but
feel
they're all
that this is
flavors of the same character.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, in Geralt's defense,
Yeah.
he's an established character, and the guy who created him is very particular about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good
But it
deal.
still goes.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I just want to say, let's see how this stacks up. That's quite a comparison to throw out.
Yeah,
with
I
The
mean,
Witcher.
I'm not gonna go as far as to say that the level of quality, because the storytelling is vastly different. Like it's just a. I'm often quite surprised at how different the story can turn out in this game. But anyway, so let's just get started, because the faster we get going, the better. Story difficulty or regular? Probably just regular.
Yeah, let's see as much as we can. I'd rather sacrifice gameplay for story for this stream.
Oh, so you want me to do story?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do story. So there's a negotiation deck, the battle deck. Yeah, your negotiation. So basically, you have two types of encounters in the game. You have a negotiation encounter where you have to talk people down, or you have a battle encounter where you fight people, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't even think I'm gonna fuck with any of this. I don't think we need it. So we're just gonna start. You were born to disappoint. When your wealthy parents tried to foot you with the bill of their ambitions, you left the check with your siblings and hit the road.
Sure.
Actions speak louder
Look at
than
the
words. So while
animation.
you, oh, it's so good. The art style is so
Or
good. in this game.
yeah, the illustration rather.
Actions speak louder than words. So while you gambled and drank away through every dive bar this side of the sea, your parents cleaned up after you, eager to keep the family name out of ledgers. Meanwhile, your siblings flourished. Thoreau, the baby, grew out of diapers and into the Merchants Guild, keeping his skin oiled. Malefi, your twin sister, sharpened her teeth at the Admiralty, swimming up the ranks of the sharp-toothed Baba. And Vix Mali, the eldest, became a Hessian cardinal. So there's different factions, and you play them against each other quite often as you play through the story.
Gotcha.
So at least when your parents finally died, they had 3 other broodlings to be proud of. But when you came home to claim your inheritance, it turns out that your parents weren't the only ones to feel resentful. This isn't the first time you wake up in a gutter, but it is the first time it hurts so bad. So far, this is actually my favorite character. I really like I'm pretty stoked about the the alcoholic party rich boy.
Yeah.
Shark.
And what a good setup with the conflict with the siblings and the history with your parents, and it's a strong characterization, but it's vague enough for interesting things to emerge. Yeah, and imbuing, exactly.
You knew you weren't the family favorite, but to be kicked out of your own parents' funeral?
I mean, fantastic.
Go over what happened. Draft a negotiation card, check yourself for bruises, draft a combat card. So I'm just going to draft a negotiation card. You've talked your way out of retribution before, but your baby brother talked twisters around you. So go between, remove a friendly argument, gain renown equal to its maximum resolve.
And so you've played a decent chunk of this game. How often do the card titles match, the flavor match with the effect? Do you see them lining up?
I would say 100% of the time, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think they're designed super well in that regard. Where when you do even footing, you're very likely using. I mean, you can't always use even footing in a moment in which you're it makes sense in an argument, but but arguments are also pretty vague. The characters very often are just they don't really, based on what card you play, doesn't contextually change dialogue. They just say look, you and me, we're on the same level. That's what the character will say if you play even footing.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see that in action.
So let's just take go between. Might be a good idea to plate your tongue with silver at least. Before you entered by the front entrance, elbowing your way through the crowd. This time, though, you head around the back. Hold it right there, Grifter. The captain has given me license to beat you down again if you need it. If you know who I am, you know I ain't no grifter. This is my house. I also really like the contextual.
Yes. I don't know what game. I mean, Disco did that pretty well. With things like that, but I don't know what game popularized having those contextual faction names.
Crusader Kings does a really good job of contextualizing its words, I would say.
The one I'm trying to think of is Pillars of Eternity.
Oh yeah, Pillars.
And every game that has done it since is dead on fantastic.
Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Yep, Pathfinder, absolutely.
Not anymore. Besides, Tyranny does that too.
Yeah. Now, I mean, what a good trend.
I kind of want them to make Rise of the Rune Lords, but also it's such a disjointed adventure path that I don't think it would make a good video game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they as soon as they get the bugs cleared out, I'll let them. I'm happy with them taking over what they want to take over next, because I really want to play that game, but the bugs killed me. Anyway,
Kingmaker?
Yeah.
I think they're all gone now because it's been several years.
Oh, really? Oh, last I checked, they were still pretty bad. But anyway, so not anymore. Besides, I've been stationed here for 5 years, and this is the first time I've seen you. I have better things to do than let my glands harden around this dump, didn't I? Kurdishi politics are never kind, but to be disowned by your own blood, that must sting. This is usually the longest conversation in the game.
Yeah, yeah, and like they're not going too hard with the world building, but they're dropping a couple pieces in to kind of ease you in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean they just talk like characters would talk in the world, right? They're not like they're not stopping and
this
going,
is the world. This is the
Kardashian
country.
politics, as you know, are much like hierarchical standards of, you know, like they don't do that.
No, it's just fully like in a scene.
Yeah, right, insane. Yeah.
Like
which is what all writing should be. Just so
right?
you know, like I don't care at all what Kardashian politics are. I just care that she said Kardashian politics.
That she knows what it is, and that it's
Yeah.
I'm going to learn through something experiential. Yeah.
Context and just as playing, you know, it's the same thing with books. Like I don't like it when people do it in books. As confusing as Neuromancer as a novel is, I'm still so happy that they never stop to explain to me really what's going on in that world. Anyway, you'd rather avoid it altogether. You notice a box just inside the estate gates, a glint of precious metals catching your eye. Looks like some of the heirlooms from your parents' vacation home. Demand one of the heirlooms or leave.
So you can totally just like pass up this encounter.
Yeah, it looks like.
Okay.
But let's not.
Exactly.
You expect me to walk away empty-handed? Parents are dead, and I've got brood rights. Rights to that box, for instance. Rorok. Oh yeah, so characters recur throughout the narratives that you play through, and depending on like, because you can betray people, you can help people, they love you, they hate you, it has effects, stuff like that. So it's good to keep a tab of who's who.
Yeah.
Glances over her shoulder in surprise. Seems the box was overlooked. No one here cares about your damn rights. I'm doing you a favor by turning you away like this.
Threaten.
So I can either threaten or beat her up or back down.
Definitely hasn't done enough to warrant you physically assaulting her.
Give me one of those heirlooms.
Plus, you're going for like negotiation.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want it to turn out like Black Friday, where you like murder an old woman with a lamp
for a box.
Yeah, I've tussled with switches before, you know. Only they weren't cozied up in the suburbs, and they knew how to throw a punch. So these are unique cards that she's putting into my deck. At the end of your turn, Incept's too intimidated. They are unplayable. So
gotcha. So filling your deck with some junk that's gonna
that's gonna screw you up. So this is resolve. This is a secondary health bar.
Okay.
So, and this is a health bar that carries over. It doesn't replenish at the end of combat or anything. I'm going to be taking 4 damage from this argument. So I can apply 3 composure to myself. So consider this.
Which is, as far as deck building, comparing it to something like Slay the Spire, that's just armor for this attack. Yeah.
Yeah, so gain 2 renown, draw a card. So renown, when destroyed, deal 1 damage to your core argument per stack, but it also does 2 damage to, or 1 damage to her argument.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So now, I think I'm okay with taking 1 damage. I'm not gonna play this super tight though. Okay, so she has interrogate. So targets, I can destroy this argument, and carryover damage will carry over onto her core argument. So, and she's attacking this. So I want to protect this argument.
So there are like individual abilities that have an immediate effect, and then there are like arguments that stick around like on the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna attack. Hopefully this hits for max. It did. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's gone. And now I'm gonna do 1 damage to her core argument, but its maximum damage is increased.
Gotcha. So she just took out one of your arguments, and the extra bled over into your core.
Yes.
Okay. And you got an absolutely terrible hand.
Yeah, the
those
2 worst
intimidates.
cards that I could draw. Yeah. Ooh, but I got the maximum amount on that argument.
And so those
that's good.
status effects, I assume that are rotating around her, the lightning bolts and the hourglass. What are all those?
So like this is Rorok is deploying an argument against you for 3
so you can
turns. Or this
preemptively.
will, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So these are her intents.
Again, just
So-
like Slay the Spire, they're like signposting your
Right.
enemy's next move.
Yeah. So you get to plan a little bit ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I can play this card twice.
Ooh.
And I think it's doing max damage because
Yeah.
of some reason. Maybe it's that. I don't know why, but remove a friendly argument, gain renown equal to its maximum resolve. So if I remove this, I gain 1 renown.
And what does Renown do again?
I can't remember. Is there
Gotcha.
a card that explained it? When destroyed, deal 1 damage to your core argument per stack. At the end of your turn, this deals 1 damage for every 2 stacks to a random opponent argument. Okay, so if you have multiple stacks of renown, then it does 2 damage.
But once it expires, you kind of take a hit. You do
you
have
take a hit.
Name Drop, which is straight up gives you 2 Renown
Oh yeah, that's probably just better. And you draw a card.
instead of losing an argument. Losing one of your points, one of your arguments.
Okay, well she's dead, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
there you go.
Um,
Okay, that's
negotiation
pretty
success.
good.
Yeah,
And the user interface is just really like
it's so good.
yeah,
It's
it,
so
it,
good.
it doesn't. I hate using the word that it's clean because it's kind of cluttered, but it has like a strong clarity to it.
Yeah, like you know what you got to do. You know you have to click.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had trouble building argument decks. Like combat
Mm-hmm.
decks aren't very hard to build, but argument decks I found have been quite confusing at times.
It seems like the argumentative effects aren't super like apparent how they
Yeah.
interact. They seem more long term with a lot more
Yeah.
preparation.
Yeah, you can't. There's no form of like stacking, like just playing huge attacks like you do in like a normal combat scenario.
Yeah, it's thinking
Um,
through the long term effects once you're dropping things.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't want to spend too long on this, so we'll just pick quick.
Yeah.
You want to see what your blood looks like here on the nice flagstone?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what a good multiplayer game for us all to play would be?
What was that?
Project Zomboid.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, maybe we should play that. That sounds really fun. That game does look really fun.
Set in like Kentucky
Oh, cool.
or something.
All right. I tell you from experience that stuff is a pain to get out. Maybe you are that intimidating, or maybe she doesn't want to risk a riot. Fine, but if the but if the Banquads notice anything missing, they'll learn you're a thief as well as a disgrace. You rummage through the box, most of it's forgettable, but there's
I feel
one
like at
heirloom
this
you
point, your character wouldn't care if he's deemed a thief by his family.
Yeah, right. They're just like stole.
Cool. So you get to like pick your reward a bit here.
Yeah, so I get either 2 negotiation cards, a
Mhm.
book of Kurdeshi poems,
Healing
training
or
manual.
a upgrade a battle card.
Yeah. These are probably super useful, but I think I'm gonna upgrade
Yeah.
the battle card. Okay.
And so even though you're focusing on negotiation, not battle, your battle deck, will that come up? You'll still get in battles, potentially?
Yeah. There
Cool.
are times when you cannot avoid battle. Like you literally have to do it.
Well, that's cool. If you're, with it being roguelike, and I assume the runs last multiple hours?
Yeah, I would say that a run is probably about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Could be 3 hours,
Neat.
depending on how serious you're taking it and
Yeah.
difficulty.
Cool.
Um,
That's such a
see that.
cool, like, bite-size RPG.
it's awesome. That's why I love
No,
roguelike so much.
It's a really
Oh,
interesting
yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
And I
It's-
love that because like
yeah.
Slay the Spire gets just a little bit boring after a while because you
Mhm.
know, like you start a new run and it's like, okay, how am I gonna build my combat deck again? Whereas in this
Yeah.
game, like it's the push and pull of like, do I want to upgrade my negotiation deck or my battle deck?
Yeah.
And And there's
And
other stuff too. There's,
how
like,
often
crafting.
have you
Hold on a
built?
sec.
Okay. What were you saying, Matt?
How often have you built into one of your decks, or you're into a run and the deck you have not favored has been a requirement and you've kind of lost
Oh, yeah,
due to
it's been
random?
yeah. That's happened before. Yeah,
Okay.
I've definitely built way too well. And part of the problem is depending on encounters. Like if you kill too many people, you get a really negative reputation, and your combat decks becomes less effective basically the more you use it. So you have to like yeah, so it can be a big problem if you're like, I'm just gonna do combat.
I want to see some of that like big picture stuff if we can get to it. So let's power through.
Oh, probably should not have asked questions. Okay, attempt to leave with a mode of dignity. Fine, I don't need this stuff.
Yeah.
I've traveled the world. See on the flipper side, chump.
Oh, look at that overworld.
Yeah, and this is one of 3. So each character has its own overworld. They're all in the same world.
You know, speaking of like bite-sized RPGs, have you played World of Horror?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, it's also a roguelike. It's not card-based, but it's also sort of a bite-sized roguelike based off of like the manga of Junji Ito, H.P. Lovecraft, and other stuff. It is a phenomenal game, and all the art is hand-drawn in Microsoft Paint.
Oh, cool. So he's a Jirackle, which is a thick-pelted species. He looks nice, sweet Marif.
Yeah, he looks like a hybrid of a Wookiee and the dog people from Rock and Roll.
Hair slick with heat. Hey, barkeep, whatever you got that's on the house. I'm in mourning. On the house, you got another thing coming if you think... Smith? Got it in one, do I? I don't know what that means. The nervous twitching of Jirackle's nose brings back fond memories of your school days. Sweet Marie, you old fluff, how you been, buddy? Oh, they know each other, okay.
Yeah, that's cool. An old friend who runs a bar back in your hometown.
Yeah.
What a good character.
Yeah, there's a narrative type for that. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Where the story starts with meeting an old friend.
Yeah.
Is there something?
Is that one of the 36 Greek?
Yeah, one of man versus man versus I don't know.
Yeah.
Or are you just here to ask for free swill? Because you're extra sensitive, you notice that Sweet Marif is looking a little limp. Offer to help your old friend. Yeah, well, whatever you're doing, count me in. We're friends after all.
And so those questions we're skipping, do they have any gameplay reward, or are they just kind of more flavor?
They probably can have gameplay reward because of the flavor. Like, if you know a little bit more about how the world is working, especially in your first couple playthroughs when you don't really know who, like, you don't know what a grifter is, you don't know what the Admiralty is, you don't know what, like, Kradeshi is.
You could stop and ask questions.
Yeah.
Cool.
Old buds like you and me, we got to stick together. We do. Just say the word and your old pal Smith will knock some heads for you. I got to lead on something that might help. So this game is organized into jobs. So you usually are taking jobs from people that open up new jobs.
Okay.
So I get to pick battle and negotiation or just negotiation.
Gotcha. So here's like the roguelike branching paths.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's just do the battle and negotiation so that we can do battle. Yeah, and Hessians. I got Hessians coming out the wazoo. It's bad enough. They're like a cult.
Yeah.
It's bad enough under the best of times keeping up with titles, but after the beaching, forget about it. I've got 2 Hessians coming around to bother me for tithes, and they aren't comparing notes. One wants to open church, one wants to open beach cleanup operation. But they tell me to ignore the other and pay them. I'm stuck between them and no way forward that doesn't mean spending my last shill.
For sure.
I accept, Sweet Marie. Delana is corrupt enough to keep the tithes to himself, so it doesn't surprise me the Illuminatiate doesn't want him paid. Okonomi is just Illuminatiate, but they can be scarier than the higher rank. Something to prove. Before I said, hesh no, don't ask me again. You as a Luminari? No, that's a scary thought. Okay, so we got our job.
Ooh, we got people to talk to. No. Okay.
Yeah, we can hire them and stuff like that.
Cool.
You can also play in various ways. So like if you need to meet somebody at a bar, but the bartender really likes you, you can convince the bartender to kick that guy out who doesn't like you, because it can screw up a battle, or it can screw up a negotiation.
It's surprising from what you're describing how malleable this world is.
I know, it's super crazy, especially on like multiple playthroughs, because like, if we were to start this over, it would be different. Like it would not go the same way.
Would like the opening scenes be different?
That's always the same.
Okay.
The opening scene is always the same.
Where does it start diverging? Like when we got to the bar?
When we got to the bar, yeah.
Gotcha.
Like right after that conversation, I'm pretty sure he gives you a random job. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Anyway, we had a random encounter with Gumthrow, who's
on our way to like complete the quest.
The job, yeah.
Cool.
That happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
Greetings, good sir. Stranger still the way you're talking to me. Oh, forgive me. I'm just looking for someone who might be interested in a business opportunity. Would you be? Opportunity or scam? Skepticism does you credit. A vagrant age. The ancient era which the planet was colonized by spacefarers. Okay. Could have spawned it. Spark Baron Tech? Another faction. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, we're getting faction, we're getting world history. This is really good. And like they've set up each of these roguelike, I want to call them rooms because I've played too much Binding of Isaac, but they've set up each of these encounters just as a scene, and that's such a great way to organize a roguelike.
I know, it's so cool. Like this is the roguelike with absolutely the most writing in it, and I love it for it. It's so great.
And good on them.
World of Horror does the same thing, where all the encounters are like separate. They're all separate encounters, like it's a D&D game, because it's somewhat based off Call of Cthulhu as well. But you know, and the stories are a string of different encounters.
Yeah, it's super cool. I love that aspect, and I'm glad the games are going in that direction. Anyway, so our options are we can either battle her to take the prototype because we don't have enough money, or we can just leave.
How confident do you feel with your battle deck?
Careful. No problem at all. Yeah. Why don't I just take it for a spin then? Oh well, I'd rather not trust. I should trust you with my shills, but you won't trust me with your thingy? Excuse me, our thingy?
Cool. And I like the battle is more pulled back with the camera.
Yeah.
You got your little hammer. Oh, dude, I like her like cudgel.
Her cudgel flail thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna do 1 damage, which is like whatever, dude.
They do a lot with very limited animations, and like the backgrounds do so much work.
Yeah, I know. It's like
kind of like Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah,
totally.
Absolutely. And like this little street has as much detail as the setting or the city in Cyberpunk is Night City. Like the way it's dense.
Yeah, it's dense and cool, and like you know where we are. We're on like a market street, you know. Like
and in the background you've got a shop. It looks like a little Subway or another shop, and a sign. Like there's depth.
Right, and it looks empty. It's dark, you know, and I don't know. Like the fog and all that stuff is.
Oh my god, yeah, the fog layer looks really nice, and they've got little particles floating through too.
Yeah. At least it's not generic Japanese street where every katakana is karaoke or ramen. Since I've been taking Japanese, that is something I've noticed in like almost every piece of media that features a Japanese street or Japantown, and that you'll have a bunch of signboards and they're all like in katakana or hiragana, and all the katakana will be the one for karaoke or ramen, and it's like, I know those are big there, but
everything like, all the time on every street, like I don't think so. Yeah, no, we've got like some little symbols in the far left. We've got little dudes on the right, those little frog guys. Squid in the back.
Yep. And at the end of this, we can either kill her,
Mm-hmm.
or we can accept her surrender, and that will play.
And so, what is the gameplay versus the narrative advantage of doing either?
Well, if you kill her, if she probably has a friend, and her friend will hate you. But if
Okay.
you keep her alive, she also hates you.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna accept the surrender. That's fine.
She hates you, but now she's still alive, and you have to deal with that conflict.
Right. And there's
Cool.
other funny things too. Like I've had playthroughs where I've gotten somebody down, like I've robbed them, and then they hate me, and then later I run into them again, and I save their life, and then they love me. And
For
they're
sure.
like, "Oh, cool! I'm so glad that you saved my life, even though you fucking robbed me earlier."
Yeah.
So let's do. Oh, cool! That's a great mechanic. You drink. And
Adds
so
an
you
empty
can draw a
bottle.
card.
Yeah.
Oh, and we got a negotiation craft. Wow, super. At the
So
start of
this
each
is like
negotiation-
all your loot. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're
Okay.
fine. You're fine. Yeah, this is all the loot.
Yeah.
So this will restore our resolve. At the start of each negotiation, lose resolve equal to the cost of your starting hand. What is good about that?
It says upgrade progress on it. At the start
I
of each,
don't want-
lose resolve equal to the cost of your starting hand. I assume whatever this upgrade is, it starts as kind of a crappy item, but like if you
Yeah.
push with it, you probably get a huge reward. That'd be my assumption.
Yeah, I would assume so. It probably goes from taking resolve away to restoring it, because you lose quite a
Mhm.
bit of resolve. Okay, so I got the thingy. That was the thingy.
Okay, so real quick, in the I want to go over the top bar really quick. So day
Okay.
1, as you go through
Yeah.
events, it like keeps your campaign progress.
Yeah. mhm.
Okay, and
Yeah,
then
so and there are 5 days in a playthrough, I think.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
so like again, comparing it to Binding of Isaac, like dungeon floors or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or Slay, you get the three towers, or the 3
Yeah.
levels of tower. So there are 5 days, and there's always an overarching story that you're playing through. They can play out in a bunch of different ways, but you're always
Yeah.
playing the same kind of story.
Absolutely, and then you've got your cash, your mental, and your physical health. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh shit! Sorry.
No, that's
But
fine.
we can still go over it.
And then those are like item slots. You've got your decks, and what are those arrows on the right? Reputation.
Good.
Cool.
2 people dislike you, 0 people love you, 0 people like you, 0 people hate you, and 0 people have died because of you.
For sure. So this is the cult, right? I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
we've now gotten to the job.
Cool.
You're stopped by a dour-looking luminary.
I really like these guys. They're like stone, but it looks like armor and a mask.
Yeah, right. So we can either convince him or we can bribe him
Yeah.
with our shills. Shills are pretty valuable.
Well, was the reward? It was like 130 or something.
True. Yeah,
I think you
let's just
could.
bribe
Oh,
him.
okay.
Well, this is just the beginning. We might have to we might end up
Yeah.
having to do either a bigger negotiation or a battle. So, pal, I got a
Gotcha.
desperate need to speak to a priest and a couple of shills for you if you'll help that happen.
I mean, it's cool
Very
that
well.
you're going in as the player being like, there may be complications to this scene. It's not A or B to get through it. Like, you're
Right.
thinking about it like a story, not a game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's really
and
good.
everything in the game is designed in that way, I think. Everything
Yeah.
in the game is designed to get you to think in terms of like narrative. You're not supposed to be in here, Delana says. So that was the guy that was mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Why does everybody keep saying that? I'm here on behalf of Sweet Marif.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the barkeep, a very lucrative parishioner. He won't be if Okonomi keeps double dipping from his pockets. Great beaching has whipped them into a frenzy. Youth will be youth, eh? Let's just find out some quick info.
Yeah.
It's not, resources are stretched thin and some of the initiates are taking
Because
advantage
it
of
seemed
low
pretty
class
aggressive.
provisions.
They weren't just looking for donations. They were like fucking harassing him for money.
It's full on extortion, yeah.
Yeah.
For the cause, for God.
Yeah, right. They
Not to
they
mention
felt
that.
more like a mob than
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, like the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, yeah,
Cult.
exactly.
Not to mention allowing dangerous ideology to incubate and fester. There's no doubt that the Great Beaching is a sign, but the ranks are torn asunder trying to interpret its meaning. Okonomi in particular is espousing dangerous idolatry bordering on heresy.
And so real quick, what is the Great Beaching? Go hover over that. Let's get some info.
A mysterious behemoth heaved itself from the sea onto the shores of Pearl on Foam, believed to be a message from Hesh. The beaching has triggered an influx of pilgrims and opportunists into what was once a controlled and opulent area of Havaria.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure Havaria is the planet.
Yeah. So that seems like the big picture conflict that's going on right now.
Yeah. If you could convince Pau to open an investigation, I'm sure she could find something. With her heresy exposed, the cult hierarchy will have no choice but to act. I mean, maybe I could just hit them really hard or something. This all sounds very dry. They're too strong to attack directly. Trust me, this is the only way. Now go. I have shills to count. Delena signals to Okonomi, who pushes you out of the door. Okonomi?
Yeah, I don't think we met them. Or maybe they were the first person in the mask.
They were the other person that we were supposed to... We could either go talk to Delena or we could talk to Okonomi.
Sure.
And I chose Delena. Okonomi is getting too powerful for someone so low in the cult hierarchy. If Pau sees this, she might attempt an arrest.
Yeah.
Okonomi is leading a band of rogue luminitiates who have been terrorizing. So we can either go to another Okonomi boss or we can go to Okonomi herself.
Let's go straight for the throat. Go to Okonomi.
All right. You arrive at the training facility. It smells like effort and fervor. They recruit. You're late. What? Who, me? Did I say you could talk?
Oh, this is good.
The assembled luminitiates form a circle around you. There's no escape.
Fantastic. Good misunderstanding. These are all like really good scenes.
Yeah, right? They're all really well designed. They're funny. They're cool.
And they don't overdo it with exposition or lore.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because if you want to just play the game as a card game, you can, but...
Yeah. And, like, right, it's a roguelike, so you're doing multiple playthroughs, and how, like, absolutely horrendous would it be if in the beginning they explained the world 5 times, and so every time you started a run, you had to sit through, like, 3 paragraphs of exposition about a world you know already?
Yeah, that would be horrible. Draw a card.
I mean, World of Horror does that, but it's not. But you can skip it just by clicking through.
Yeah, as long as it's not like horribly intrusive, but the fact that you can just not click on or hover over the like hyperlink text that like so like effortlessly deals with the that issue.
Yeah, well, it's actually it's something I'm doing in my novel. Just a real quick shout out to my own thesis. Like in my novel thesis, I refused to do like world building chapters. I just didn't want to do them. And so what I did instead was I wrote a wiki. Yeah. And I hyperlinked the ebook. Like, so if you're reading it on Kindle, you can touch the word on my ebook and it takes you to that page on the wiki.
That's
that explains what it is.
Are you gonna, if you have a physical copy, are you gonna have an appendix?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't intend to sell a physical version of it, so
if you ever do, that's you'll find a clever solution, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a digital novel. Makes sense.
Yeah, that was my intent. It's you know, it's full digital. Okay, so we need some defense. So we're just gonna do. He has like no defense. Rook has tons of defense. He's getting hammered.
And that's good. His like the drink, the Smith's Flask, are those cards that are unique to this character?
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, and like they're all pretty good at different things. So like Sal, the first character, she's all combat.
For sure.
She can negotiate, but she's much better at combat. Rook, his whole story is built around negotiation because you're playing 2 opposing factions against each other. You're a double agent.
And so how does this dude stack up? I assume he would be sort of a mix.
Yeah, he seems like he's almost like a balls to the wall attacker.
Gotcha.
But I wouldn't be surprised if his negotiation deck ends up being better than his attack deck, because that kind of seems like that's his narrative arc. Is like just the way he's acted, you know, like he's so aggressive.
He's more of a social person than a fighter.
Yeah, because also given his background, right? Like he's a rich kid, and you know, so I think it's probably built into his narrative that like at some point you probably need to do a hard switch to his negotiation deck.
Absolutely.
Whereas with Sal, you don't really have to. It's not really built into her narrative.
And by narrative, you mean like the missions it gives you, where this one was like combat and negotiation. For her, you just like get a ton of combat missions.
No, you get combat negotiation too, but the overarching narrative in Sal's narrative, like, because in Sal's narrative, it's always the same. In all three of the narratives, it's always the same.
And so those encounters will be combat.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the final encounter will be combat. I'm assuming, I've never beaten Rooks, but I'm assuming his is a negotiation. Like a really, really intense negotiation. What's alleviate? Oh, cool.
Ooh, that's
Recover
nice.
health up to the amount that you've lost this turn. Healing cards are good and rare. Apply 3 exposed. Restore resolve. You catch your breath. You made your pets do it. I'm not a recruit, you doof. I just had some questions. I would have made you fight 2 rounds if I'd known you were just a gawker. Ask about this place. Ask about sweep moves. So I could betray Delana instead after talking to Okonomi. Let's ask. He already pays his ties. He can't afford another. Pays his ties to a pretender. If Hesh doesn't exert its will through Delana, it's because he is too bloated and lazy to move. We are the ones doing beach patrols, honoring the beast. We bathe in its blubber and cleanse ourselves with the foamy brine of at its mouth. Or what we think is its mouth. Do the fancy bishops in Supplicant City know you're double dipping like this? Okay. They aren't here, the great bleaching is. Hesh's will seems clear. Interesting. Because he's just as insistent as you are that Sweet Marif keeps paying. Perhaps Hesh has brought you here for a reason then. Perhaps your purpose is to dispose of Delana. Delana will be collecting from Lily later today. Convince Lily to change the meeting location somewhere out of the way. Then you can... That animation was great.
Yeah, no, I like this, like... Again, mafiosa type, like, religious order.
It's awesome. And what will you do? What will you be doing while I do all of your dirty work? Training for a glorious future. Now go, embody Hesh's will.
Fantastic.
Okay, so now we have a choice.
Yeah.
We can either go to betray Delana, or we could betray Okonomi.
Betray Delana.
Okay, so we're gonna side with the youngsters.
Yeah.
Oops, that was not what I meant to do. Let's talk to Lily, civilian wealthy merchant. Keep your distance.
These just like all of these characters look like they're from like an indie 80s animated movie. They look like they belong in like heavy metal or something.
Yeah. Okay, so I can convince him. Oh, he has super low resolve. Yeah. So we
change
can
the meeting site.
Bully
move
or
the
beat
meeting
him up.
Oh, convince or bully. Gotcha. I was looking at what came after, and I was like, change or move. Those are the same.
Yeah, right. Thing is, Delana, blah, blah, blah. Only thing you got to do is move the meeting. Simple, right? So I took 5 damage. I wonder if, like...
Oh, it was that, like, artifact thing you got on the top.
Yeah, it was this, yeah. Okay, so we're going to apply 3 composure.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do this. And we're going to gain a stack of renown.
Yeah.
So it does 1 damage because I have 3 stacks. If I get that up to 4, it'll do 2 damage.
Take money.
Ooh. So
rough.
he gives me this card. I can do 2 to 5 damage, but I have to pay 5 shills. I don't have a lot of shills left.
Oh,
There it is.
cool. Just the fact that he's corrupt, so that's how the game...
Yeah, right. Yeah, isn't that awesome? Like, isn't that so cool?
So to defeat his argument, he gives you the option of giving him money to convince him.
Right.
And it does a piece of the work. That's that's nice.
Okay, so I need to be renowned 2 in order to do this. Okay, gotcha. Sweet.
Like the
insert
nepotism
self-promotion.
card. That's good.
Say again.
The nepotism card, that's good.
Yeah. Play this card twice.
Yeah.
Love that. There's probably a way to buff that so it does a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Lily has its doubts.
Yeah.
I'm currently trying not to use these because I have no money. But if I have to use them, whenever your core argument is attacked, deal 3 damage to a random target. Apply 3 composure. And let's do this. 1 damage. What the fuck? What is this? Negotiation flourish.
That.
Oh, you're good.
I'll need to go in 5 minutes anyway because of class. But
Yeah. I mean, if you need to take off, you can go ahead and take off, Cleveland.
Yeah,
if you
we
want
can
to
wrap
get ready
up.
for class.
yeah, today was fun.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you had
That
fun.
looks like a really cool game.
It's super fun.
Yeah,
It's pretty
the-
cheap right now too because it's still not out. I think it's like 15.
Neat.
Yeah, and I trust the company, especially with how long they've been supporting Don't Starve.
Yeah, right.
Like it's still getting updates. So no,
I know, it's
this is
crazy.
on my wish list for sure.
Okay. Oh, cool. We can kill him right now. Bang. And
There you go.
excellent. I'm an expert negotiator. Pick a negotiation card. Renown 3. Draw 2 cards. Ooh, that's cool. So you can set up a scapegoat.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cleveland. Thanks for coming on.
See ya.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yep. Fine, I'll play. Where do you want the meeting to happen? Somewhere secluded.
Those like unique poses, those unique animations are.
I know,
always
right? I keep
really
skipping
well
them because
done.
I'm so used to doing it, but
Yeah.
they're really, really cool. They do a great job of adding personality.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna ambush Delana. Yep. You find Delana and Lily. Why did you want me to meet here this time? I'm so sorry. Hey. What is the meaning of this? Okonomi sends his warmest regards. So I can either, once again, resolve, or I can beat him up.
I mean, either kind of seems like it makes sense for the character, but
Yeah.
how aggressive do you want to be? Do you want to get in a fight over this, or do you want to?
Well, the problem is we're already at 56 health.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of his attack cards deal damage to him. And this is the first of, like, I think there's 3 jobs per day.
Oh, damn. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think we're going to try and work on the negotiation thing. Ooh, I forgot about that 5 damage at the beginning.
Yeah, I really hope that pays off. But his
Yeah.
health is pretty low.
He's not attacking. So that's good.
Yeah.
So we're going to gain 1 renown.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
feel like
there
you
we
could tear through this pretty quick. Nice,
Yeah.
you got the 4.
Okay.
So now those buffs he has. His
Yeah.
arguments, yeah.
Gain 2 renown, draw a card. Remove a friendly argument, gain renown equal to its maximum resolve.
Mm.
Okay, so we're going to draw 2 cards. What? I thought I had 3 renown. Did I not? Yeah, renown 3, draw 2 cards.
Weird.
Oh, I'm dumb. It's resolve. This argument has its own personal resolve.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I have 1 stack of renown.
Oh, but it has 3 resolve.
Yeah. So if I had played this first,
Mm-hmm.
then I would have had enough to drop.
But
2
you have
cards.
3 stacks of whatever's up top there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay. So now we're going to. Which one? Oh, you can also see what they're attacking. So this is attacking all 3. This is being attacked. Or attacking me. I don't know.
And so you could potentially, yeah, you got rid of that, which cleared up those attacks.
Yeah. Because I want to keep
Very
those
nice.
side arguments going.
Yeah.
You got to juggle. You got to balance all your information and side arguments.
Absolutely. So it's not like always worth it to just go for the throat.
Yeah.
But
okay.
You were able to, yeah.
Go for the throat on that one.
Yeah, pretty effectively too.
Oh, cool. Is that good? It's good if it's in your
I mean,
opening hand.
if you have a small deck, you know, with a high probability that that's going to be in your opening hand. Otherwise, it's just, it takes up so much space.
Yeah. We'll just do this.
Yeah.
You also don't have to. One of the things I actually really like too about this game is that if you deny a card, you get money instead, rather than in Slay, where you don't get anything. You just don't add the card, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we only have 1 pocket to fill. So we finished the first story.
And so going back to the bar.
Now that the corruption has been uprooted, you don't have to pay that old crook anymore. You just have to pay me. Oh, okay. Do you think I could have started getting my receipts for my tithes? I want to say yes, but Hesh is saying no.
Fantastic.
That old priest is gone. That's great. If you ever need backup, swing by the center. I'll lend you a recruit. So now we can have somebody join our party to help us fight.
And so do they go at the same time, or do you send them in your stead?
They come with you. They go with you. Yeah. Thanks, Smith. You just halved my tithes. You get paid 100 shills. Quest bonus, 30 shills.
Fantastic.
Oh, that little animation is new.
Yeah. So there's stuff you can do with him.
Someone came by asking questions, looking for you. They left directions. Go investigate the offer. Our eye stalks.
Yeah, right?
There's so much personality in this game. It's just great. Grenades.
Yeah.
A bit low right now. Well, with pilgrims jamming up trade, but if you need anything, just head to the party store. The party store.
Yeah.
The place is still in business. And wait, what am I gonna do with party supply? Stock paper hats? Like most things in the Pearl, it's a front. Ask to see the special reserve. Oh, I get it. Secret hats.
Yeah, like this is funny in not like an overly obvious way. It's just it's very lighthearted.
Yeah,
but
right.
it's serious the whole way through.
I know, that's what's so cool about it. Like it does a great job of balancing that. Like it does it better than like Destiny, Star Wars, like all of those things that are trying to be like funny and serious at the same time. It's just like the characters have a sense of humor, but you do some fucked up shit. Like you murder people, like you kill family members, like you do really crazy shit in this game. I'll find something. Okay. So, so there, I guess there's only 2 today, or 1 today because
nighttime. Well, actually, and we're at 4:55. I think this is a good place to wrap up because we did 1 whole mission, and it was what, 3 scenes?
Yeah,
for like a whole little story.
Yeah, and we could have shortened it. Because we went the extra mile and talked to both parties. A lot of the time you don't have to do that. Like if you just want, you're like, oh, I agree with Delana, no problem. And then I go kill that guy. And a lot of them don't have that kind of thing. They don't have that choice. Like you go there. I mean, they do have those choices, but they're not always as what's the word I'm looking for?
Like signposted.
They're not as difficult to decide between.
Gotcha.
So that one was kind of hard because like I genuinely wasn't sure like which one is better, Delana or Okonomi, and we won't know for a while. Like Delana
And by
very
better,
likely will come back.
And by better, you mean like for a gameplay benefit, not like narrative?
No, a little bit of both. Like
okay.
I didn't know who I agreed with, like
Sure.
the young upstarts or like the old guard. Or because like in my opinion, neither of them should be doing anything, but you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah. So it makes sense to stop the people that are taking further advantage when there's already this system in place.
Right. So these three don't like us.
Fair.
He likes us.
Yeah.
And he's great.
So far, no one dead and no one hates you. Yeah. That's good. I mean, yeah, this is cool.
It's awesome. It's so great. And the narratives can get really fun. Like, I love Rook's narrative because of the playing both sides thing, where you're like, you pretend like you're working for one group and you pretend like you're working for another group, and you have to like go break up union rallies, and you have to like do all this other crazy shit. It's just the three different stories are just so cool. Like for like $20 or whatever it is, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can pay $20 for a 300-page novel right now. And which would you rather do? Right. And what story are you going to have more fun taking in?
Yeah, this one. 100%. Not a doubt in my mind.
And literally just for hours of entertainment, narrative-focused entertainment. Like, this is a steal.
Yeah, it comes highly recommended from me. I saw it one day, and I was right in the middle of a Slay the Spire run, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't pick up, is because I had finally just come around and gotten Slay the Spire, and I was a little I liked it, I enjoyed it, but I was a little disappointed, right? Because I wasn't hooked like I am with other games, especially other roguelikes. And so I was like, I'm cool. I'm gonna cool off on deck building games for a minute. But no, this has totally flipped me. I am there. Yeah. I am all down for this, for Griftlands.
Yeah, well, and I'm telling you, like, I am consistently shocked at the stuff that the game remembers and brings back.
Yeah.
Like, so it's very possible that Delano will come back and he'll be the one guy that we needed. Because we forced him out of taking tithing, he'll probably be like a bouncer at a bar or something, and he won't let us in later in the game because of what we did.
I mean, yeah, what good precedent. And so, quick aside here before we wrap up, in the this semester's narrative workshop, we're working on novels with Professor Frumpkin. And so I am doing a text adventure where you take the shoes of the criminal and you play through a little bit of their story, and then you do some scenes as the detective. So you never get a full picture of what you're doing as the criminal, but you get to kind of characterize and flavor it, and those choices that you make come up as you're investigating the mystery. So it's this conversation you're having with yourself. And so, you know, I'm doing it in Twine, yeah. So, you know, it's going to be pretty linear as the criminal, and then the options are really going to branch out, and so this is going to be a really good game that I'm gonna sit there and I'm literally gonna chart my runs of Griftlands to see how things connect, and use it as a jumping off point for saying, what are these interesting moments of interaction? What's a compelling way to have a character come up? Which, you know, is slightly different from a regular story, right? Because in a regular story, you have lots of side characters that might not influence the story in the same way a second person like game has side characters that reoccur. Yeah, this is the type of thing that I think games only get away with, because characters by their very nature in story, like in written story, are they serve the story. That's their function, right? Like it would be considered a bad character if the character was simply a character that was in the story because they're in the story, right? Like they need to be a thing. They need to be something in the story, right? Yeah. And
So, and that usually leads to scenes or stories having characters where like you, the moment you meet a character, you're like, well, I know what they are. I know what they're going to do. But
Yeah.
games get to do,
Yeah.
they get to twist that a little bit because you innately are empathetic with the person you're playing as, right? It just happens. You have to be innately empathetic with the player character. And so the things you do in the game can come back and haunt you, and that can be a unique, fun thing for you as the player. Whereas, like, it doesn't matter as much in a novel.
Yeah.
If a character comes back because they had to come back because that's the point of the character in the story, right?
Yeah, and you have variation, like how. I just heard about Hades, right? The amount of written lines is like 300,000 words.
It's unbelievable.
Approximately, right? That's a beefy novel. And so, you know, Griftlands, I'm sure it's in a comparable size, even though it's still in early access, right? So you have a novel length amount of text, and a big problem with games, right, as a writer, maybe not a problem, but something unfortunate, is that, you know, how much of that writing is going to be missed by the player. Well, with something like this, you get those chances for someone to rerun it, and a higher likelihood that they're going to see more.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I've played through Rooks a couple of times and just enjoyed the story each time because it kind of, it's just different enough that it's interesting, you know. Or I've played Sal's probably 5 times.
Yeah.
Just because I enjoy, because the thing that I think they did so geniusly is that the overarching narrative is always the same. Just like in Slay the Spire, you're always trying to get to the top of the spire, right?
Yeah.
But in Griftlands, you're always trying to like kill that guy at the end. But the real, like, the meat of the story, the fun of the story, comes from the relationships you develop with the randomized characters.
Yeah.
And that play out, how they play out over the course of a run, right?
You have a compelling but light structure and just so much flavor in between.
Yeah, right. There's tons of flavor. Yeah. This game is very flavorful. That's a
it's 1,000. It's 1,000% going to be my next game purchase, and it's going to be something I look to as I'm doing this novel.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. I'm glad we played those. Maybe if Pinckney ends up not being able to come next week too, we'll end up doing Kenshi. But that game is a whole fucking what the hell. But,
and I mean, this is so tight on story. I would love to see his take on this and see these like literal good, well-written scenes come out.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So this is one we should keep in the back pocket.
Yeah, we should probably return to this actually, because that was that story was good. You know, like I would read a short story about that.
Yeah, totally. Even just, you know, here's this character dealing with this like cult.
Yeah, like this little cult thing. Like that was a well-written, cool story where goes and he's just trying to help his barkeep buddy, his old barkeep buddy.
You could probably isolate 1 or 2 little vignettes like that, 1 or 2 missions for each character, and sell that as a short story collection.
You totally could, right? And I think that's what's so impressive about this game is like Clay did that for any untold numbers of variations of that. Yeah. Like, how is that not a superior form of storytelling? How is that not an evolution of storytelling?
I mean, it objectively it is, and here's an idea I'll leave you with, and an idea that kind of is inspiring my my novel work, and so this was the terminology that Professor Frumpkin used, is that right as you're writing a larger story, you are saying that this happens and then this happens and this happens,
right?
And so you're kind of culling the branches of possibility, right? And the term she uses, you leave all of these potentialities of what a story is, you concede, and you leave those branches stillborn. All right. And so with a novel, you are concretely drawing your line through the path.
Right.
For something like this, or for something like a choose your own adventure or a text adventure, right, I'm giving you the whole tree, and you are able to draw your path through it. Like, that is inherently superior.
Right. It just has to be.
It just has to be, especially if it's as well written and all of the things of like the Chekhov's guns and the objective correlatives are there, and you just leave the verb a blank that can be filled in based on your choices.
Right. Yeah, like there's no way Griftlands would work if it wasn't in the hands of extremely good writers.
Yeah.
Right? But the framework of this elevates the work beyond, I think, your average novel. That's kind of the thought behind, I think, what you're saying and what we're basically agreeing with. Agreeing about.
Absolutely.
So go check out the Neophyte Studios Game Jam. Go join the Discord. There's a link everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't even know if anybody is watching today. I wasn't checking stream chat because
we haven't gotten anything much. Okay. But maybe some people will get this far on YouTube, and if they do, we love you. Thank you.
Yeah, right. And so we'll talk to you in the YouTube comments on the Discord if you ever join.
Yeah.
Bye.
We're out.
When does that close?
When does what close?
Voting closes in like 3 days, right?
Yeah, I think I gave it just a little bit extra time. I think submissions close today on the 3rd, and then voting goes, I think, until our next stream where we're going to play the games, play the winners.
Oh, sweet. Cool.
We got that looked forward to.
Awesome.
That being said, goodbye.
Goodbye. See you next week.